This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
Hello and welcome to Superfans. This is your one-stop shop for Chicago podcasting. Even though this is week 3 of coronavirus, we are still bringing you live content. I know it sounds super exciting. As Ricky's sitting there itching his eyebrows, like,
What was it's the inner eye, right above the eye started to itch.
Just the expression you made while doing it
Now,
just broke me.
Remember to wash your hands because you don't want to touch
quit touching your face.
Yeah, that's why I was doing it like one finger, like.
And then you'll put it in your mouth and then you'll get the corona.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much at this point, I think I touched my face
corona.
like 500 times during the first take we did on the fast break, and I'm gonna keep doing it during this episode. But guess what? I'm quarantined, so like I wash my hands like 18 times a day anyway.
Dude, I have a rash, so
Yeah.
what we're talking about doesn't matter that much. I've been washing my hands so much, like really, I don't know if you can see that, like right there.
Yeah.
I have a rash from washing my hands so much, and then I also
20
burn
seconds is a
myself.
long time.
That's a little bit
You
different. But
burn
yeah,
yourself.
I burn myself. Yeah, we should cut down this 20-second crap. Although it's how you effectively wash your hands. We should cut down on this. Maybe like 10 seconds.
As long as it gets the job done, right? Sure, that's what your girlfriend says. So we're here to talk about. Ricky's already lost. We're here to talk.
I'm here.
Ricky.
I'm here.
You're just looking down.
You don't want to talk about washing your hands?
What? I wash my
history
hands.
of Superfans. You gotta wash your foot, Ricky.
I did that in between podcasts.
Okay.
When I stepped away, that's what I did.
Okay. So this is Superfans. And if you couldn't tell by all this conversation, we talk about Chicago sports sometimes on this on this shit. So today we've got a great show where we talk about Jimmy Graham. Still play football. Why did we sign him to that much money? We really made a big mistake here. And then the 2020 NFL Draft, the Bears' second round selection, and maybe the second one. We'll talk about maybe. We'll see. Who should we be targeting with that selection now that free agency is effectively over? All the big names have been signed at this point, just kind of filling out those backup roles, it would seem, but we'll see. And the third topic, we might talk baseball. I don't really know, though. We'll figure it out as we go. But guys, Jimmy Graham, can he play football? He used to. Like, can he still, though? Is he still worth a lot of money? I kind of hated this signing. I kind of hated the amount of money we spent on someone who is as washed up as he is. Do you see him? I guess we can start off. Ricky, you brought up the comments he made. Was it just as simple as I can still play football?
Yeah, well, from the ESPN article that I saw on it, that was curating from, I don't remember which Chicago media he was talking about. They asked him,
but I think it was a conference call. So
Yeah.
Typically, when free agents have signings, whether it be baseball, football, they have conference calls. Especially now that they can't have a press conference, they had a conference call with Jimmy Graham, where I think this stemmed from.
The two comments, the first one was short. He said, "I'm still fast. I still have the ability to make big plays." And then they asked him about his release from Green Bay, and he says, "Obviously, it was a tough pill to swallow. It was the first time I lost my job, and I work extremely hard. I've sacrificed everything for this game. I've given it everything I have. And obviously, to go through that, it was difficult. Now I have the opportunity to win a bunch of games this year, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm obviously grateful for the opportunity and the friendships I did make just up north there. But for me, it lit a fire." So, like, he's going in with this, like, I can still play. Getting fired lit a fire under me, and I'm going to do great things for the Bears.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna bash this guy for having that mentality. I don't think I can
Blame
sit here and
yourself.
just be like, "Oh, fuck Jimmy Graham for wanting to, bounce back from being fired." I can't have that reaction. That'd be ridiculous. But do I believe that it's going to return to Jimmy Graham of 1,000+ receiving yards and 10 touchdowns? Absolutely not. He's not that type of player anymore. He's 34 years old. The body gives up at some point. And I don't know if his body has given up to the fact that he can't be an effective player, but it's definitely given up to the point where he's going to be a top 10 tight end this year, or at least top 5. I mean, he's not going to be that type of player. And you went out and paid him $9 million. Like
Last year, he
that's
had 38 receptions for 447 yards and 3 touchdowns.
And that's the thing too. Like, the $9 million is ridiculous just for the lack of production over the past 9 years. The no trade clause is somehow more ridiculous. You were talking to Dave about how you dislike the signing, and somehow it keeps getting worse. Like everything that comes out about it's like, oh, now he has a no trade clause. That stuff I really don't understand. And then obviously the other contracts that were signed for similar amounts of money, like Emmanuel Sanders and Eric Ebron, like those are the ones that really pissed me off. But the thing with the Jimmy Graham comments is like, do I still think that he can be effective, playing football? Yes. I mean, I think that in his time with Green Bay, it was 3 years, right? 2 years?
He had 2 years in Green Bay.
And I think he had 10 touchdowns, right?
No, he only
7-3?
had 5 touchdowns total.
So he only had 2 touchdowns the year before that?
Correct.
I mean, it just like
600 yards, 2 touchdowns the
him,
year before. Yeah.
Yeah, everything I've heard about him is that he's going to be a good red zone threat still. That he's still got strong hands. He's still going to be able to be making plays in the end zone. He's still going to be making plays around the goal line. Like that's the thing that we need.
His last 2 years in Seattle, though, he had 6 and then 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, well, that 2017 year was like magic in a bottle for Seattle. Like Russell Wilson was whipping everything at the end zone at him. Like that team worked well because of Russell Wilson. Jimmy Graham had his the best year at the end of his career. In my mind at that point, like I look at his stats and I'm like, I mean, is he really going to be like that an upgrade over Trey Burton on our team? No.
Well, the thing is that
Healthy,
they're hoping that Trey Burton will be back and that they'll be able to run Jimmy Graham and Trey Burton, which I don't really hate. But the thing is that it's how much money is being put into both of them. That's the issue with this.
5 tight ends under contract, 6 tight ends under contract
9.
now. We have 9.
We have 9. Yeah,
we have 9 tight ends. Oh, that's right, because the end of last year. Yes.
Yeah. Jimmy Graham, Trey Burton, I believe Ben Bronacker's still on the team. I think Jesper Horsted's still on the team. They signed Demetrius Harris as well. They signed the kid. There was another kid. He was cut from a
spot rack.
JP Holtz.
Spot rack has Burton, Graham, Shaheen.
Shaheen. I forgot about Shaheen.
Harris. Bronnecker, Schaubert, Clark, and Raymond.
Oh, Dax Raymond.
Okay.
Dino Boyd.
I don't know who Dino Boyd is.
Yeah, they don't have Dino Boyd on here.
Oh, I'm sorry, he's a tackle. I went one below the tight end.
Yeah, but I mean, we have 9 tight ends and none of them are good.
Yeah.
It's just, and the thing is, we look at we look at the Jimmy Graham and just his career. He's played with Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers. What the fuck does they think? Like, okay, now we're gonna have Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles run this offense, and he's magically gonna turn into something great. Like the only benefit that I can see is that he's gonna help a red zone offense because the red zone offense was so bad last year.
I mean, he's a big body. He has good hands. So, like, I get it. He doesn't have to do
in the red zone, he's going to be
bunch.
fine. That's the part where he's going to be crucial. Like, I don't think Trey Burton has the hands to be a great red zone target. I don't think he's big enough to box people out as well. Like, we've seen Jimmy Graham be able to do that. I don't know if you guys know this. He played basketball.
That's never been mentioned ever while he's been playing football. Definitely not twice a game.
Tight ends play basketball? What?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing with the Jimmy Graham thing is I don't trust him to bounce back at all, but if he's able to catch 5 touchdowns or 6 touchdowns, like I'd be happy with that because that means at least we're converting in the red zone.
That'd be a lot of touchdowns for him and for us. Like that's the thing. Like I have very low expectations. Like I'm looking at this as like if he can repeat what he did last year, I would be okay. Like, am I happy we're paying him this much money? No, but at least we're getting some production out of him. 40, if he gets 40 catches, just shy of 500 yards and like 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, sure. Am I going to be pissed that Emmanuel Sanders will have like ridiculous numbers compared to that because he's playing with one of the best offenses in the NFL, but for less money? Yeah, no, I'm going to be a little pissed, just a smidge. I think that's what hurts the most is no matter what he does for the Chicago Bears and Jimmy Graham, it doesn't matter because it's only going to be compared to the people who we didn't sign.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll say this right now. I don't think it's going to be that much of a hot take, but Eric Ebron's going to blow him out of the water this year. I mean, 2 years, $12 million. I absolutely think Ebron, I think Vance McDonald are the 2 tight ends. I mean, they're going to be they're going to be more productive over there. Like if we're looking right now at Jimmy Graham and Trey Burton, who are making more money than Vance McDonald and Eric Ebron right now in Pittsburgh, that's going to be a better tight end group. And you're spending more money on it. And that's the issue where it comes back to Ryan Pace year in and year out. Like, is this guy smart enough to be a GM?
He shouldn't be
Is he
allowed to
making the right
draft
moves?
offensive talent or trade for offensive
He
talent
shouldn't
or
be
sign
allowed to
offensive
do it.
talent. He is half of our
I mean,
team. He can talk
Anthony
defense.
Miller looks good, and he drafted him.
In the second round. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think if we looked at every one of his offensive picks, I think I can name you the ones that it worked out. Tariq Cohen, and that's an iffy one. Anthony Miller. That's it. Daniels,
Mitch hasn't
Daniels
worked out.
James Daniels too early to call, but he still looks athletic enough, so I don't think he's that bad of a pick. But those are the three guys that I think you could make an argument. Over the past 5 years, those are the three guys that are still left.
Well, and that's why, like, for Jimmy Graham, I wonder, because of the wideout situation, and Sean, before we started, you were saying how, like, the Emmanuel Sanders deal kind of, I don't know if you said got you upset, but it's like one of those, like, wait, we couldn't pay him what he was getting from the Saints? Like, we couldn't have offered him that deal? And with the wide receivers you have right now, is Jimmy Graham just going to be he's our red zone specialist, or are you going to expect him to basically, the year I'm looking at is kind of like his, what was it, the 2016 year in Seattle, where Doug Baldwin had 94 catches, but Jimmy Graham was right behind him with 65. Is that going to be what you look for the Bears? Because really you have Robinson and Anthony Miller, and then hopefully Ridley steps up this year.
Better chance like Wims, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with at least, you're talking about what Jimmy Graham can do, right, and how it compares to the wide receivers. I think the issue is, at least they have 2 U tight ends, is what they call them, and those are the guys that are the receiving threats. Jimmy Graham isn't a good blocker. He isn't like a Gronk, who was a great pass catcher and then also a great blocker. He was always a great athlete, and that's what he did. He's too old to be doing that now. Like, he's too old to be that great U tight end that's running down the field and catching 70 balls and over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns, right? It's not in his prime anymore. So you got a watered down U tight end. So really the hope is that Trey Burton works out. And if Trey Burton's working out, then that's going to take pressure off of Allen Robinson. It's going to take pressure off Anthony Miller. It's going to take pressure off of, Riley Ridley if he's around. It's going to take pressure off of Wims if he's around. But I still don't think they have enough playmakers to actually make a difference, right? They have David Montgomery, but they barely use him in the right way. Tariq Cohen was awful last year. Robinson was the only offensive player that you could look away and be like, holy shit, he had a great season. Yeah. There was one player on this offense that you could say, great season. I don't think you could look at any other player and make that argument. And that goes to Matt Nagy, yes, but it also goes to Ryan Pace and the fact that he has not been able to find talent on this offensive side of the ball. And you could look at the defense. He's done a phenomenal job there, but that doesn't mean that he should still be the GM of this team. And obviously it's too late to fire him now, but I think it's a worrying issue because we have this great defense, right? But what the fuck is it ever going to lead to if he can't find a single, couple of guys? You can't find 2 or 3 guys that can make an impact on this offense. Anthony Miller, while he still had a decent season, was still being talked about by the coaches and by the GM needing to step up and needing to learn the offense and needing to, really be sharper in and out of practices. They don't have guys right now that you can rely on and be like, all right, if we come late down, crunch time, this guy is the guy we're going to go to. You have Allen Robinson. That's it.
No,
Yeah.
it's a true statement, and I agree. We are only gifted at going after one side of the ball, and as far as our offense is concerned, I know scheme wise we've had to switch a couple things around from the game plan for Nagy, but like I agree, at some point you just don't have the talent on the field to pull off what he's trying to do, and I think Jimmy Graham, as much as I think he's diminished, I still agree. Like he can still be tall. He can still be able to push off guys in the end zone and be able to pull in touchdowns. So like my expectation is, we're going to see a couple of these double tight end lineups with him and Burton or him and Shaheen out there. And for the most part, if Burton can stay healthy, he's going to be moving the ball for the gross majority of the middle of the field. And then when it comes time to hit the red zone, we're going to see heavy dose of Jimmy Graham lining up out there, whether it is just as bait or as, an attention grabber for teams. That's fine. If it means that Allen Robinson can make an extra move and not be double covered, or Miller can come across the middle, like that's fine. As long as we can get value out of him for what we had the whole goal here is the touchdowns. Like it's an entirely a red zone move.
Yeah.
So as long as he can draw some attention in the red zone, it will be worth it. I mean, the cost will never be worth it unless he has like a miracle year, which I don't expect. So
I think the biggest issue too with all of this is that, like with Burton and Graham, I don't think they could be on the field at the same time, right?
I think we spread them out and we go, like two outside, 2 wide receivers, 1 on each side, and then we go double, and we just launch everybody out there. I
mean, we didn't see this a lot last year. Maybe they didn't have the personnel to run it, but we didn't see a lot of 2 tight end sets last year. I think that the most that you saw would be Horsted at the line and then Holtz being used as a fullback. But again, they're not using 2 tight end sets. So I mean, you're paying Burton this X amount of money and Graham X amount of money. Can you even
Burton's
use them
6.7? Yeah.
Yeah. Can you even utilize them at the same time when you're taking
cap hits 8.5?
Yeah, when you're taking up $17 million of the cap space. So you're paying $17 million to 2 guys that can't even do the job of 1. Like, is George Kittle going to go make $17 million? No.
And yet,
the guys who make that are quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just think, Sean, you had a great point of with when you talked about the system last year, how the targets went were Allen Robinson obviously got the most, 150 plus targets. Cohen got 104, Adam Miller at 85, and then it dropped off where you had Gabriel at 48. Wims at
Adam Miller?
Anthony Miller is what I meant. And then you've got,
Adam
and
Miller?
I'm looking at it too, so that was me reading it wrong. Then Wims at 39, Montgomery at 35. It's just like, even where are the targets going to come? Because I know that we can, like, the whole thing is targets in the red zone, and that's where he's going to make his money. But, like, you look at it, in 8 games, Trey Burton only got 24 targets. Adam Shaheen only got 13 targets in 8 games. Like, is it magically going to be, they're going to throw to Jimmy Graham?
No, you're going to see less of Tariq Cohen. I mean, Tariq Cohen was so bad and got 104 targets. There's no way he's getting that many targets this year. I think you see less Montgomery as well, although he should be getting more targets. I think Cohen should be phased out, and Montgomery should be getting both the run options and then also play options, passing options. Like I think that Montgomery should be used as a multi-use back. I would like to see what they have in him, but
because that's what he was in college.
Cohen's not getting 104. I mean, it's as simple as that, and you're going to see. Because, I mean, he was kind of their check down guy this entire year. And I think that you're going to see Burton be their check down guy and Graham be their check down guy. So I think that's where it just comes from.
You just hope that Mitch Trubisky can throw the ball more than 7 yards. That's for the most. If our offense gets past there, then we're in good shape.
Or Nick Foles.
Yeah.
Whoever is the quarterback. But I don't think either are great options, and I don't think Jimmy Graham is helping either guy.
All feels a little hopeless here, boys. I mean,
it does. I mean, you look at what they've done on the offense, and this is something that obviously isn't the topic, and this might play in more into what they're going to do with the 43rd pick. But Jermaine Ifedi from Seattle, like the Seattle fans either love this guy or hate him. He had 29 personal. I had the tweet pulled up. I'm gonna pull it up, not be an idiot. But I mean, this is a guy that he had 29 false starts and 12 holding flags in the last 4 seasons. Like, this is a guy that we are begging to hope that busts from other teams' first rounds are going to help our team. And that's what we're looking for in this. We're looking for the bust that Jimmy Graham was in the Packers to come help our team. We're looking for Jermaine Ifedi to be the bust that fixed our offensive line. We're looking for Nick Foles, the bust of the Jacksonville Jaguars, to fix our quarterback room. We're looking for the bust of the Cincinnati or the Kansas City Chiefs and Matt Nagy to fix our offense.
The bust of the Steelers, secondary, right?
Oh, Artie Burns. Yeah.
Artie Burns.
That one I'm a little iffy on because, I mean, he might just be a guy that they cut. But he's cheap. Like, they didn't sign him to a big contract. Like, they're holding back Ifedi's contract number because I think it's stupid big.
Oh,
they know Bears fans are going to be. They know Bears fans are going to be hella mad.
Yeah, probably. Oh, it's been a fun free agency period for the Bears. Whole lot of swearing, whole lot of yelling. At least we got Robert Quinn. There's that. We hit one thing well. Credit to us on that part. All right, let's twist it up a little bit here then. Let's switch into our second topic and start attacking the NFL draft. And our first overall pick in the second round of the draft what should the Chicago Bears be targeting at this point with the signs that we've made?
Well, the big thing for me is there's 3 choices. And the good thing is the Bears have 2 second rounders. They have the 34th, and then the 50th pick. The question is, because to me, the biggest needs are interior offensive line or secondary, either cornerback or safety. What's going to be available? A lot of mock drafts have, if you're going interior guard, Natane Moody out of Fresno State, but on most big boards, he's a 40 guy. He's in like the late 40s, early 40s, so you may be reaching there. I think with the first second rounder they have, I would look secondary. If a guy like Trevon Diggs drops, if a guy like Kristen Fulton out of LSU is there, even the safety position, Antoine Winfield Jr., if he's there, I would target that at 34, and then with my 50th overall pick.
50. You
43rd?
It's
I
43rd.
flip them.
50.
43rd, I look at safety and secondary. At 50, I go with the interior and go with a guard.
Sean?
I disagree with that. I think that everything that they have shown you this year shows that they're going to go in a different route. They're going out and signing interior guards. I mean, the Ifedi thing, they're looking for him to be, he could play tackle or guard. But right now, our lads has him listed as a guard. I feel like he will end up being a guard. And then you look at their guard depth. They have James Daniels, Cody Whitehair, Rashad Coward, and Jermaine Ifedi. I don't think there's a need there for interior guards. So I don't think that there are interior linemen. I think and even then, Alex Bars, like if they're interested, I think that he is a guy that can play pretty much all 5 positions on an offensive line. So he could be a guy that they could, keep around too. So I don't think interior line is that big of a need. I think that what we have seen is a lack of movement in the wide receiving core. And we obviously know this is a very strong wide receiving core in this draft.
Yes.
And then I also don't think we've seen too much movement in the secondary, like you said, Ricky. So I don't think we can rule out either corner or safety. I think that there is enough in the free agent market for them to go out and get a safety. So that's the thing that's concerning me, is I think that there are better options right now for their safeties. But I do think that this could be a play where they're going to go and try to take a shot at a wide receiver. I don't think this guy's going to be a second rounder, but if he is, we're talking Falls. Denzel Mims from Baylor, he's a stud. I think he's probably the 3rd best or 2nd best wide receiver in this draft class, and he's consistently been in the back half of mocks. So I think Denzel Mims could absolutely be a stud coming out of Baylor. Brett Coleman did a whole mock or a whole video about him. It's so insightful, and I am so hyped for this kid. Like, I'm gonna root for him wherever he goes. I love Denzel Mims, and if the Bears were able to get him, that's exactly what they need. You slide Anthony Miller into the slot. I don't know if he technically is a slot guy, but he's small, he's speedy. Like that's what those guys are. And I'm pretty sure when I was watching him in Memphis, he was a slot guy. I mean, and then throw Mims out on the outside and have Robinson out on the outside, and there you go. You have 3 legit wide receivers right there. I would love that. That's what I would love for the 43rd overall pick. What I think is going to happen is not that. I would also love Jalen Hurts. Like, those are my 2 guys that I would love to see, is you go out and draft a quarterback or you go out and draft a wide receiver. That's what I want at 43.
Could you bring up a great question?
Could you see them trading them? Like 43 and 50 to move up for a wide receiver at 32. Because like I could see if you don't, like, if Jalen Hurts is gone and you want one of those first round, because wide receiver is going to be deep in the first round.
Right. But I think the thing is, I'm not, as a Bears fan, I wouldn't feel comfortable going like a Jalen Hurts. Like I'm not trading up for a wide receiver in this class. Okay. As much as I love the idea of Mims, also the Mims-Wims combo would be fantastic on the outside. I'm just saying. I would not trade up for him. I think he's talented. I think he's going to be good, but I'm not trading up 2 second-round picks on a team with the holes we have. We need to hit on both of these unless we're not nailing in that quarterback in Jalen Hurts. Like, that's my opinion. Sean, would you trade up? I got to fix this light. It's just going to keep strobing at me. Be right back.
Wait, what is it? Trade up? Is that the question, Ricky?
I think so, yeah. Would you trade up for a wide receiver?
No, I'm not trading up. I mean, this is a deep wide receiver class. I love Mims, but again, I watched a video on him, and now I think I'm a Denzel Mims expert. But no, I think that everything that we've been hearing is that this is such a deep wide receiver class. And that just tells me that at some point, somebody's going to have to fall. Somebody's not that high on some draft class. And I think there's probably 8 wide receivers that are first-round talents. And at some point, there's not going to be needs for wide receivers. So somebody's going to fall to you at 43. It might not be my guy in Denzel Mims, but it might be a guy that can fall to you. And I think that's where we were looking at. You're looking at secondary and you're looking at wide receiver at these spots. They went out and re-signed Tyler Bray. They have Nick Foles. They have Mitch Trubisky. As much as I would love to see, a quarterback here, I don't think it's going to happen. They've made moves to address the interior line. Maybe they make a move to address the exterior in the tackle positions, which could happen. They have 9 tight ends, so that's not fucking happening. They have Cohen and Montgomery, so I doubt that they're going to draft a running back, especially after they just used a third on Montgomery. The defensive line is set. The front 7's set. You're not touching that unless you want to take a guy that has potential in the second round. But last time we did that was Adam Shaheen. So then it really just leads to the secondary and wide receiver. So I don't think you still need to fill 2 spots. So trading up, I think, would be stupid. And you still need to get depth on this team. So giving up draft picks would be absolutely stupid. The Bears are not in that spot.
No, I feel like if anything, we're trading back from one of our second rounders. Yeah. And try and pick up, a 4 or a 5 or something like that.
Which one do you think is
later picks?
Which one's more tradable? The 43
has more value,
or 50?
I think it's going to depend on who's on the board left. Like if you see someone slide down that board who like another team's eyeing, if you can, try to leverage that.
Yeah.
And, somebody with like a end of the first round grade somehow slides down there, like an AJ Terrell or T. Higgins, something, in one of those guys who you feel really should be a first rounder. Like, hey, I'll listen to offers. I'll absolutely move back because, either one of those would fit, wide receiver or corner, which Bears could use. I don't know if they graded them the same way. So if they're like, hey, if we can get, if we're moving back from the second round to get like a 3 and a 6 or something, pull the trigger, I guess.
Because right now the rest of the draft you've got 2 7s, 2 6, and a 5th. So it's second, and then not picking until day 3. Yeah.
I would love to possibly add a 3rd and a 6th. Like I don't know what the price is for that 50th, but if we're able to get like an early 3rd and add a 6th round pick, I wouldn't hate that. If Ryan Pace wants to move back, and even if it's with the 43rd, if you think you can get a wide receiver or the secondary guy at 50, and then you want to go after, get 2 picks in this draft, I would love that. You need to get depth though. So that's the issue with trading back is you can't get a pick this year and a future, or you can't get 2 futures. You need to get picks for this year because every move that you've shown defensively is that this is a team that's going to compete this year, even offensively with the Nick Foles thing. Like you are looking to compete this year, and if you're going to do that, you're going to need backup plans and contingency plans for these players. Especially when we saw last year, people got injured like left and right, so you're going to need contingency plans for these injuries.
Yeah,
and I think that's the biggest thing with the Bears is you need to at least stockpile picks if you are going to trade back for this year, for this draft class, so you can fill out your roster.
And I know that it's not, it's right in the middle of where the Bears 2 picks are. But the Colts had the 46th last year, and they traded it for a 2nd, which was 3 picks later, and a 5th.
Oh,
so I could see. So if they got a 2nd and a 5th, I don't see why at the 50 a 3rd and a 6th. Like that would be undervalued, but I don't see how that wouldn't happen.
Again, I'm just throwing it out there. Like if it's a 3rd and 5th, I'm not gonna complain. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing out there. Like
I was just looking to see, like, hey, have we seen this before, and what value have other teams gotten for it?
Yeah. I would rather see the 50th go though. I would rather them part with the 50th, keep the 43rd, and then attack some of the positions of need here.
I agree. So basically, this pick is all down to the fact that I think. All right, let's put it this way: if there's a certain quarterback on the board named Jalen Hurts at 43, are we taking him regardless?
Yes, I would.
My strategy would be take Hurts at 43, and then here I got 2 things. Take Hurts at 43.
I'm trying to big board it here. Yeah.
If Hurts is on the board, at 43, I'm either trading back and getting moving up to get a team that wants it, because if a team has Hurts and they're willing to trade up, I feel like they're going to give up more than they should, right?
I mean, quarterback, yeah, makes sense.
If you don't think Hurts is going to be a guy that fits for you, or you don't like Hurts, I disagree. I think Hurts is I think he's probably the third best quarterback in this draft, but
Burrows.
Fourth. Burrow, Tua, Herbert, and then Hurts. I think he's the fourth best quarterback. I think that you could definitely see a team wanting to trade up and getting Hurts. And if that's an option, I would do that if you don't think he's the guy. However, if he is available, I think I take him, because then you have Foles. If Foles performs well, you have Foles on the roster next year. You decline Mitch's 5th year, and then you have Hurts for 2 years then under Foles, and then you could address that. But there's no way I'm not taking him. But if I am taking Hurts, then I'm not trading that 50th. I want to draft Hurts at the 43rd, and then if I take him at the 43rd, I do want to take that 50th. And whether that be addressing the secondary, whether that be addressing the tackles, whether that be addressing the wide receiving core, if I'm taking Jalen Hurts in my 43rd, I do want another second rounder with it.
Interesting.
But if Hurts is on the board and I don't want him, I'm trading. I'm trading that pick and letting someone else take Hurts at 43.
Okay.
Yeah, the interesting thing for me is I'm looking at other mock drafts, and one thing that, I'm going to say is interesting is that it looks like in most of them, there's a wide receiver in Senault Jr. He's the one out of Colorado, falling quite a bit. I'm seeing him in second rounds. So to me, that would be like, if he's in the second round, I would maybe take him at 43, but I'm seeing a lot of Jalen Hurts in the second round. So for me, it'd be no question. If Jalen Hurts is there at 43, I'm the famous Ricky Widmer quote, I'm running that ticket up to the podium quicker than you can say ham sandwich. Because I really sandwich. I feel like I'm physically not, but the runner is. I'm taking him because to me, he is going to be, out of all the quarterbacks, there is a potential for me for 3 stars in this draft. One's Joe Burrow, one's Tua. We know those two. The third one is Jalen Hurts. He is going to be the one we look at and go, like Herbert's good, but Herbert to me, I wouldn't be surprised if he either has one of 2 career paths. Herbert's either going to be a Phillip Rivers type, we're very successful, Hall of Fame, Hall of Famer, successful, but the team didn't do enough around him, or he's going to be Cam Newton, where the only thing I worry about with Herbert is if he becomes a runner, injury. Yeah. Whenever I watch his film, he runs just like Cam Newton. He runs just like him.
That's fair, but you're comparing him to a Super Bowl champion, an NFL MVP, and a Hall of Famer. And Cam Newton would be a Hall of Famer.
So, 4. I'll add Herbert in. Herbert's going to be damn good.
If the Bears want to draft Justin Herbert, I guess I'll be happy.
They would have to trade up a lot for that.
I know, but I'm just saying, I don't understand why Hurts is not a first rounder. Like that's the thing.
Me neither.
I've seen him mocked as low as the 3rd.
Yeah, I'll be honest. It's asinine. It's asinine.
What I saw in the combine, what I see from his he's got everything. He's smart.
It's the growth in the game too.
He's got an arm. I think the kid wants it.
Yeah,
I do. And I don't know that much. I don't know enough about Jordan Love to say, oh, he doesn't want it or anything like that. But I do think that you look at Hurts, and Hurts has that production in big time football games. Big 12, SEC, Alabama, Oklahoma, bowl games, whatever the fuck you want. Outside of the one game against Georgia. Yeah, outside of the one game against Georgia where Tua came in and threw that one pass. That's it.
Yeah, I get you.
I've seen enough from Hurts. That guy's a first rounder in my mind. If he was at 43, I'd take him.
All right. As far as attacking the secondary, is there a... I know it's more the 50 pick, but I've seen Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah, you dropped out for a big chunk.
Oh no!
So I didn't hear your question.
Cool. Thanks, Mike. I love you. I love you, Discord too. So with the second round in the secondary, are there any names that stand out to you? I know one of the names, I'm probably closer to the 50th overall, but Trayvon Diggs out of Alabama. I think he is. I'm not sure how he's related, but I know he's related to Stephon Diggs.
Brothers.
Brother. Okay, great. Even better. I know he is a senior. I know he is long. I know he's got a great wingspan. I know he was a injured player in I think 2018. Yeah, 2018. But like, I'm seeing a lot of upside in him, and he seems like a smart cover. Like, I don't know. Am I wrong to lock myself?
I don't.
And comparing him to his brother, real quick. I mean, Stefan was a guy that was absolutely slept on out of Maryland. I think he went 5th round, Ricky, if you can correct me. I think he was 3rd to 5th. But Stefan was a guy that was slept on. He wasn't a guy that stood off and jumped off of pages and stuff like that. Like, he wasn't a guy that was looked on heavily to turn him into what he did. And he's still 5th round. Yeah, I mean, he was a guy that was massively athletic. He's still, I mean, you look at his tape and he should have been a 2nd rounder. So I could absolutely see what you're talking about with that untapped potential in Diggs.
See, I just don't think he gets. I just don't think he falls out of the 1st round for me. Like,
you've got him marked his 1st round.
I still have him marked as 1st round.
Okay.
For me, it's going to be interesting to see now that the Vikings have 2 1st-round picks.
Yeah.
Like, that is number one that I think will be totally like ironic. Is it's like, hey, we traded your brother. We drafted you.
I don't know if they could do that.
Like, because they're a team that needed secondary help.
They do.
You've got the Eagles need secondary help. The Jaguars need secondary help. There's so many teams late in that draft that could go secondary. 49ers could do it as well. The only question is going to be whether they value safety over corner in those situations.
Right.
And I think if Diggs is going to go to the Bears, you're going to need to use 43 on it. So, like, the question is then, if Hurts is available, do you go with the secondary, which would be the bigger need, and hope that Hurts is still there at 50?
No.
It would be that, I think, would be then the debate.
There's enough players in the secondary. There's enough players in free agency that you could find to fill out those spots. We're talking about a 2nd corner here because Kyle Fuller is already there, and then a starting strong safety. I don't know if I absolutely love the idea of a safety being drafted and starting right away, but then again, Adrian Amos did it and he was a 5th rounder. So I'm not going to be like, oh, the secondary is that big of a need, we're going to pass on Jalen fucking Hurts. So if Hurts is available, I'm taking him at 43.
Yeah, but after that, that's what I'm saying. After say he's not there, like as far as your big boy.
I know, but Ricky just said that he would wait to draft Hurts to 50, so I'm yelling at him.
No. I was asking the question. I would take Hurts at 43. Yeah. I love Jalen Hurts. Also, can I make one quick aside really quick? Because I'm looking at Tankathon.
Yeah.
The Rams logo sucks. Like, I was looking, I was like, what fucking college is that? And I clicked on it, I was like, the one with like the Rams skull facing down. It's like, it looks like it was made by a 3-year-old. I'm sorry.
I'm not totally opposed to it.
It was really like, I'm looking at it where I'm like, huh, what logo is that? And I was confused and forgot that they changed their logo.
Clearly, this needs to spur it off into which team had the best rebranding effort. You know, with their logo, their mascot. I mean, there's not a lot of good ones out there.
What are the options?
Yeah,
that's the problem. Like the Lions, the lion got slightly more fierce. I think
they just added white lines,
and it made it look cooler. Yeah. It made it look cooler.
The Dolphins.
I think
the Dolphins.
Like, at least here, real quick. Like, let's just go back to the.
Jaguars.
Yeah, like I don't think that. I personally, what I would do is
Bucks one.
Hurts at 43. I'm ignoring you. They're rebranding anyway. They're rebranding in April. 43, I'd take Hurts. And then 50, I would take wide receiver. And then if not, I'd take wide receiver at 43 and then a tackle at 50. And then I'd wait on a cornerback. Like if who's the kid from LSU, the corner?
Fulton.
Yes,
Christian
if he's
Fulton.
available, then I'd take him. If not, I'm fine with waiting. Like the biggest need on this team right now, secondary wise, is strong safety. And I think you can just take J.R. Reed from Georgia, strong safety, reliable, knows how to tackle. It's what you need. It's literally all you need against Eddie Jackson. You could put a former linebacker at safety. It would work. Like that, you don't need to overthink this safety position. And I think you can get him in the 4th round or the 5th round, because we don't
got a 4th, so I hope you can get him in 5th.
So yeah, I think you can get him in the 5th round. I think he might still be around. So I think you could do that. I truly do. I think that the 3 options that you could do are Hurts and a wide receiver and a tackle, or Hurts or not, sorry, or a wide receiver, and then trade back that 50, and then take a safety in the third round like J.R. Reed.
All right, Ricky, what will your final rankings be for how you're going to draft?
So what I would do is, if Hurts is there at 43, I take him. If not, I go with safety or corner, just BPA. At 50, maybe wide receiver, but the thing I wanted to add about wide receivers is the guy I would target, and you would need to maybe trade the 50 to get a fourth rounder to get him, because I don't know if he'll fall to the fifth. But I absolutely love Donovan Peoples-Jones out of Michigan. Like, this kid is, like, he's 6'2", so he's the same height as Allen Robinson, but he's big and has a big enough frame to impose himself on corners. And, like, when I see something where he was averaging 1 touchdown per every 6 catches, he's a guy that I think that can develop into a number 2 if you don't think that Anthony Miller is going to develop into the number 2 next to Allen Robinson.
And the thing, too, with Peoples-Jones, he doesn't have a quarterback.
Yeah, he didn't have a quarterback.
So I don't hate it. The one thing that kind of worries me, though, is, like, when you have that skill set and you have all of those, measurables and all the stats, like, he hasn't been talked about that much. I feel like in this draft process, and that's a little bit of a worry.
I think it's because of how stacked the wide receiver position is.
Yeah,
like, he's not spectacular, but he's reliable.
And I think for that, though, I mean, I don't know if he's the guy in the second round for them. I don't know.
All right.
No, definitely not in the second. It would have to be like fourth.
Yeah, I mean, 6'2", 448, I'll take it. And a 44 vert, like, those are nice numbers.
Yeah.
He ain't bad. He's not a slacker. I
hope he's not a slacker.
I think that's where we'll wrap this segment up. Let me know what you guys think the Bears should do with the 43rd pick and the 50th pick, if we should be focused in on that Jalen Hurts or bust route, or if you think, we could just add some nice pieces in the secondary, wide receiver or offensive line, and keep building this team up slow. Let's move into our final topic of the day, which apparently baseball. Somebody wants to talk baseball here. So, I guess baseball may happen this year. It's up in the air. Like, I know there's the whole hope that things will return to normal sooner rather than later, but it does seem like
I mean, hey, if you ask Trump, we'll be back by Easter.
Yep, he's an idiot. Yep, agreed.
Who did I say that live?
Oh.
I don't know. We're screwed. Anyways, off the court.
Off the field.
Before we get into the topic of what is it again?
It's going to be would a shortened season benefit the Cubs or the Sox?
Right.
Sure.
So I think before we get into that, I want to throw this out there. So the MLB apparently wants to go to 5 rounds of a draft, and apparently this is then
which Scott Boras is pissed about.
Yes,
of course, makes him less money.
Of course he is. Yeah. But they want to go to five rounds of the MLB draft. And Keith Law thinks this is a reason for them to then possibly get rid of the minor leagues, which has been talked about before. That Rob Manfred wants to get rid of the minor leagues. Yes. And
so stupid.
That just, to me, that just means that if you're cutting this draft, which I think from 40 rounds to 5, you are giving so many people, like, you're killing the ability for those late round picks to turn into anything. What stops somebody from coming in, seeing all of that talent, and just being like, okay, we are going to sign you for $5,000 more than what you're doing. We're going to start up our own baseball league. We're going to implement the right rules, and we're going to make it into a national game, right? We'll make it quicker. We'll make it faster. We'll make it sexier. We'll make it like the XFL. Like,
I was going to say XFL.
I want to do that topic.
And this is something that absolutely could happen, right? This is something that could, like, locally is where the MLB dominates. But nationally, it's not. How do you capture the national audience? You bring in a new product, and yes, it's still baseball, but you add the things that people want. You bring an auto strike zone, right? There's no umps, right? You get away from the idea of, it's America's pastime. Like, add something new to it. Put fireworks on the outfield wall, so if someone hits it, they go off. Like, I don't know, but like, you make the game quick, make it a 2-hour game, no matter what. Cut down the commercial breaks, cut down the innings, cut down the season, and make it a game that is more palatable and more watchable, and fucking kick their ass, because they're not going to have the minor leagues, and they're not going to have that there's going to be so much talent to actually absolutely go after the MLB, because at some point you're going to miss somebody that's going to be a star.
My whole thought when I saw the 5-round draft, the thing that I thought of was, because Illinois is going to have this problem. Well, 2 of their pitchers are, where these kids that are in college, what are they going to do? Like, there are 2 pitchers that we have that they're contemplating right now because the season's canceled. Do I come back next year or do I enter the draft? And now being like, the thing that I thought of when I saw that was, this is Manfred saying, hey, I don't want an influx of minor leaguers without any baseball being played, to kind of like maybe get some of those college kids to say, hey, I'm going to come back for X year and not come to the pros right now, which I know sounds stupid because then you're adding a year of life onto you by the time you're in the not even major leagues, but baseball.
This is going to screw everybody, right? So I don't really, the whole coronavirus thing, shortening the season, stopping seasons, all that stuff, it's hurting everybody, right? It's hurting Rob Manfred. It's hurting the 2 Illinois pitchers. It's going to hurt every single person. But if this is a long-term idea of them shortening to 5 rounds, that's
stupid.
where the issue comes in. And that's where somebody should come in and notice that there's going to be a lot of talent of baseball players that want to play, that want to get paid. And you can go out and attack that market right now. And this is a weak baseball market already, right? And there's so many outlets that are looking for baseball, right? Whether it be DAZN or whether it be ESPN Plus or whether it be Hulu Live, right? Like if one of these streaming services were like, all right, let's start up a baseball league, I'd be down. Like,
Vincent McMahon starts up a baseball league.
I 100% agree. This is fantastic.
Make it a 62-game season. Make the inning. Make it a 6-inning game, right?
Yep.
And then I don't know what else you could do. Automated strike zone. I don't think you could shorten.
Are we DHing? No DHing.
I would
DH.
I like having separate, but
you have to make it a more entertaining product. And pitchers batting, waste at bats.
Agreed.
And this is just for strictly entertainment.
Or
If
it
you have
just
9
forces
good
pitchers to actually practice batting, but okay.
No, but the whole thing is like that's such an antiquated idea. You're talking about the national rules that were set up in 1882.
Yeah, I mean, but like I look at guys like Shohei Ohtani and I go, why can't pitchers just be like that?
How many Shohei Ohtanis?
No, I know, but like, and this is a debate for another day. But like,
it's not a debate. You're wrong.
I don't get. I've never gotten why I throw the baseball, I can't bat. I throw the baseball, I don't have to focus on that.
Okay, but then why doesn't Ben Simmons shoot threes? Like some players,
No,
some
exactly.
players,
They just don't do it.
to make the major league. And this shows how much talent is out there in the world, right?
Yeah.
There are so many guys that can play baseball at a high level that you need to specialize to become the best player possible to then be able to make it to a minor league team, to then possibly make it to a major league team. Like this is the reason why there's specialization, so you can separate yourself from the hundreds of thousands of baseball players there are in America, right? All these guys, I mean, think about how many baseball players do not make it to their dreams, but they could be great players in college baseball because there's high school players that are jumping them. That's the thing, is that's why specialization needs to happen, is so that you can make it and survive. Shohei Ohtani's out there in Japan and he's just hitting bombs. And he's like, oh yeah, I could also throw 97. That's just a gift. People don't wake up throwing 97, right? I mean, that's the thing with Shohei.
That's another thing I want to add. Short outfield walls so we can have people jump on top of them like they do in Japanese baseball. Add that to this league.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm all in on this idea. I think it's shout out for EGF Sports wants a shout out. Yo Sean, it's Eddie Fitz.
Hey, what's up, Eddie? I know Eddie. Shout out Eddie.
Yep. But yeah, no, I'm all in actually. I love the idea. Dated version of baseball. Baseball is the sacred game. It's the old rules. It's the national all this old shit. The record book that goes on for over 100 years. Update the game. Like they don't want to update baseball. That's fine. Baseball can stay baseball. Let's have this B version of baseball that will be quicker, better, faster, more interesting, and keep people's attention. And I think that would be a huge win if they do decide to do this 5-round draft, because think of all the talent that gets picked up after that point. The guys who grind out their time in the minor leagues. I mean, that's there are so many great stories and so many great things going on with the drive from basically high school baseball, travel, college to minor leagues, everything about that. Like, it's something special. You guys can play MLB The Show, and I'm sure you guys have done that grind before. Like, give me that, and I will be so happy with this off-brand baseball.
Yeah, I don't know who's gonna be the multi-millionaire or multi-billionaire that starts up this league, but that's something I at least want to see. But we can get into the White Sox Cups thing. I got nothing left on it. All right, well then let's end it.
I think that's great. I think that's great. I think Sean, you just solved baseball being boring as shit. Ricky, any thoughts?
No.
No.
I mean, the only thing that I can think of is, like Sean says, who's going to be the billionaire that does it? The other question is, who's going to think it's going to make them money? Because that's the only way they're going to do it is it going to make me money? And if they don't think it won't happen.
Like if it's a short,
if you're doing 60, you can have playoffs I would have playoffs no later than August, because then you don't have to worry about cold and shit.
I just don't want to compete with the MLB, so you gotta bump, you know.
Well, they go from March to October, so
it's entirely in like the South. Like, they could do it, so it's like they could play off season and still be fine, because you could have it.
I wouldn't do that. The competing with the MLB, you can't, like, you're gonna have to, because they play from March to October. And I'm not doing it during the winter. It's not going to be a winter baseball league. I would probably go June, July, August, but like then like MLB, you're dealing with the All-Star break, or it could be the most boring part.
That's the thing. I'm having my championship on All-Star weekend.
Okay.
There's no baseball. And
there's the All-Star.
People complain about the All-Star game. Nobody wants to watch the All-Star game. Give them championship sports. Have the championship game on that Wednesday.
I laugh because you're right. People complain about it, but when they gave it a reason to matter, people complained about it.
You start the playoffs. You start the playoffs late June, right? And then you have the championship series going on the week before All-Star game.
You start your season the same time?
Yeah.
Start in April.
Okay.
Why? What's the issue? I mean,
no, I'm just asking. I'm theoretically asking.
I'm not afraid. Like, you can't be afraid of MLB at this point. MLB is
you're
dropping.
You're gonna have to compete with them just because I'm not playing during the winter.
Domes only.
Yeah, no, that's not baseball to me. Baseball's an open stadium. I hate the whole dome thing.
Time and eat up your market shares, but the whole point is that you're trying to capture the national market, not the local markets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting idea. I'm 100% down for the you said 65 game season?
Sure. 62,
62 game. Yep. Somewhere in that range. It seems about right. Everybody gets to play each other a couple times. That's all you need to know. Like, I think the whole idea of a 160 2 game season is fucking ridiculous. Like, it's impossible at the national level to keep up with all the teams and everything going. It's such a slog of a season. There's so much downtime. There's so many guys taking days off. You only get to see, your favorite pitcher, once every, other week or so. It's just, it does not draw the fans in the way it could. So I'm all in on this. If we did have to have a shortened season though this year, if baseball decided they're going to rock it out and just start in July, right? If they go July and October.
From what was said by, I think it was, what's his fucking name? Jeff. It Jeff Passan on SVP? Yep. He said that the MLB is thinking that maybe June, July could be where we start up. But as we mentioned way earlier, the 3 criteria that was agreed on is these 3 things all need to happen for baseball to be played. One is there's no ban on mass gatherings that would limit the ability to play in front of fans. However, the commissioner could still consider the use of appropriate substitute neutral sites where economically feasible. Number 2 is there's no travel restrictions throughout the U.S. and Canada. Mm-hmm. And number 3 is medical experts determine that there would be no health risks for players, staff, or fans when the commissioner and union still able to revisit the idea of playing in empty stadiums. So that's the 3 criteria that we're at.
Yeah.
Obviously, they want to play in front of fans.
Without fans. That was my next question.
The White Sox and the Orioles
One
did it.
game happened.
Yeah, I mean,
that doesn't mean you can.
It was unique.
You can. Is it ideal? No, but you can.
I'm saying,
but
Rob Manfred do it?
No, and I don't think it is. That's why the language is in there. If there is a mass ban on people gathering, they're not playing a season.
Mm-hmm.
They're losing on so much money, where they're not going to be able to fill up 40,000, seats, or whatever. They're not going to be able to fill out their stadiums. There's going to be no revenue that they're going to be making outside of TV money alone.
And that's not enough to sustain all 30 teams.
Unless TV money skyrockets, which it won't.
Yep. No, with the cancel culture that's been going on, it's just cord cutting happened. Sorry.
Well, it's not that, but I think it's more the fact that baseball is just dying as a sport, and even though people are looking for something to do right now, it doesn't mean that they're going to immediately look to baseball because baseball's still broken.
Yep, I agree.
A shorter season benefits the White Sox though because they're younger, and then that likely will start in warmer weather. Younger players won't have to deal with warming up or anything like that. I think it benefits the White Sox more.
Ricky, thoughts?
I mean, the Cubs, I don't think there's a yes or no, it benefits or hurts us, but the White Sox were the ones I wanted to dive into because the thing with the White Sox is the only worry I would have is them catching fire early because like Sean said, young players don't have to warm up, but over a long season, would something happen where, they catch fire and then they drop off? Where a shortened season, if the White Sox catch fire, Cubs could too, but the White Sox, I think, would be more unique because of their playoff standings and thoughts at the beginning of the year. If they catch fire and it's a shortened season, White Sox could then be a viable playoff team and maybe a viable division winner if they can catch fire from the beginning of a shortened season.
Biggest thing too is if the Sox then if this starts in July, you'll have Carlos Rodon, Michael Kopech back, and you'll have 7 legit starters. Yeah, and that just benefits them right away. And then you don't have to. You might not wait on Madrigal and Andrew Vaughn coming up because if the season's played, the language was said that a year of service time was going to happen anyway. So if you're calling them up right away, if you're planning on calling them up in 2020. There's no reason to wait. So then your team might be that much better if it's going to expand to 29 roster spots as well. You have Rodon and Kopech come up, and then you have Vaughn and Madrigal come up, and you're fine. So I think this is
it's a clear winner to the White Sox on a shortened.
Because the Cubs they're not going to benefit from adding depth. I don't think they're going to benefit from having a longer season because they have older players that might get injured. So I mean. The biggest benefit for the Cubs is that it might keep them more healthy. That's it. Yeah.
And the only thing that would hurt the Cubs is we have someone in our division that are like the White Sox right now and the Reds that are dark horses. I think over a long season they would have spots where they would come up and be like, wow, they're playing very well, but I don't think they're making the playoffs over a long season. That's the only thing that would hurt the Cubs is a shortened season could help the Reds make our division even more difficult. And then we miss the playoffs.
How would it affect the trade deadline too? Because you got some names who some names who could be on the move.
I'm thinking they don't even have a trade deadline. If they start in July, what do they say? Oh, by the end of the month, the deadline's still there, or
they just give them
do they move it? Yeah, I don't know what they do with the trade deadline. That would be interesting.
Sean, do you think the trade deadline could be a hugely impactful thing if they decide to either not have one?
Yeah, I wonder if they even have one.
30 days?
I don't think it's going to be I don't think the trade deadline is going to be that impactful. Okay. Really? I mean, which players are going to be moved right away?
We talked about the
if it's a shorter season, then there's going to be less time to figure out if you're a contender or pretender. So
true.
I don't think the Sox or Cubs will benefit necessarily from the trade deadline. It might, other teams might, but I don't see the angle where the Sox or Cubs might.
Fair enough. Yeah. And any other thoughts on a shortened MLB?
I'm good. I just think Rob Manfred's stupid.
I agree. Sean, I'm all into MLB and fixing the MLB by starting up a rival company. We just need to get the backing.
We'll call
Do
it
it, Dave.
We just need a couple $1 billion.
We'll use all the patron money.
All the patron money. We'll start up our own MLB. Ricky, could you be a manager in a?
I could totally be Lou Piniella.
Anyway,
Go out and
Dave,
say you could be Lou Piniella.
Yeah, I could.
Really?
I could kick bags.
Dave, you know zero about baseball. You can be a manager right now.
It's a tempting offer. Sean.
Yeah, Dave could be Rick Renteria.
That's all you got to do. You just got to talk to people.
I'm great at talking to people.
And you're gonna be a great manager. You got the job. You're hired.
And Dave could be good at trading people.
I do love to trade people too. Do I have any ability to trade people?
Dave wouldn't be
You won't be
afraid
able to do anything besides talk.
Can I get a front office?
Dave wouldn't be afraid to call them into his office and say, "Yep, you've been traded."
Ooh.
Even when they're not, like, hey, Anthony, come in.
Dave would just fuck with his players. Hey, Chris, can I talk to you? Yeah, you've been traded. You got to pack your bags. What? Just fucking with you. Go get ready for the game. Got to keep you on your toes.
To the Orioles.
For back of
Nice. All right, well, I think that'll do it for this amazing episode. Week 3 COVID, week 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's been a great time. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you be going through this pandemic right now, let us know down below if you like to build out this amazing league with better rules and better understanding of what's going on, what people want to actually watch. Then let's do it. Let's make something happen here. Let's get a movement started today. That's been, hang on, what order am I? I'm pointing.
You're all the way on the left.
Yep. And then all the way past him is Ricky Widmer. We'll catch you next time.